So I want to say something about some of the emails that I've been getting, and particularly from, I mean, I want to put this gently, people who I think are a little bit nuts. But there's a specific type of, I mean, I get all sorts of nuts who send me emails, but there's a specific type of nut that I'm starting to notice that is really sort of disturbing to me. They seem to have some stuff right and some stuff completely fantastical. And in general, I don't have a problem with anybody believing any fantasies that they want. But this is a bit of a problem because, well, I'll give you an example of some of the things. You know, China importing food, U.S. food inflation. These are all apocalyptic emails that they're forwarding me from other email lists that they're on. Death panels needed to fix economy, says economist. USDA looks to illegally approve GE sugar beet planting. Ground Zero Mosque seeks tax dollars. Or, well, there's one from where she's quoting Larry the Cable Guy, which is not quite as relevant and not really even as legitimate as some of these other things. Obama's taking away all our guns. Obama's godfather is George Soros. George Soros planted Obama into this country. Now, you know, part of them are, there's some facts. George Soros exists. Obama exists. Obama's president. George Soros is rich. Those are all true facts, but the combination of them. And I'm starting to realize that she keeps parroting talking points that are clearly sent from Glenn Beck and Alex Jones. And, you know, I've watched some of these Alex Jones things. People send me, you know, every other day it seems like he's banned. And if you don't watch today, he's not going to be around tomorrow because the government's going to come after him because they definitely want to get him in his, you know, his cave, wherever he's hiding out. And, you know, there's some entertainment value to Alex Jones. I'm not going to disagree with that. And there's actually some modicum of reality to what he's talking about. But the problem with Alex Jones is, and what he's doing to these people who follow him, is that, yes, there is some modicum of truth. Yes, the banks are ripping us off. It's true. There is austerity, supposedly, or at least an attempt to impose austerity in this country, and it's certainly happening in places like Ireland. And it really is an upward distribution of the wealth from the middle class or poor people, middle class, to the wealthiest among us. And yes, the banks did screw us. And yes, we are bailing out the banks and essentially, again, redistributing our money, tax dollar money, to the banks. But what is not true is that the banks engineered this entire financial meltdown so that they could make money, and they're driving us towards another financial meltdown so they can control all Americans or whomever he's talking, or the world, or that there's this one world cabal that is trying to engineer this thing. They don't give a shit about control of the world. They don't need it. They just want to make money. There's no cabal. It's a series of individuals who are simply working, trying to make as much money as they can without any regard for ethics or other people. They're just basically seeing an opportunity and exploiting it, which is also, frankly, a really good description of Alex Jones. Well, there's some financial meltdown. Why don't I tell people that there's a one world government that's coming? These people don't want the hassle of controlling the population. They're not trying to shear the sheep, whatever that means, or cull the herd. This isn't some massive plot by the UN for population control. It's just a bunch of people who are somewhat smart or idiotic sitting in front of a computer saying, how can I game the system and make a lot of money and not get caught? And I'll tell you something. The best thing in the world that exists for those people, the one thing that's making it really hard for them to get caught. In fact, if I was them and actually did have the ability to organize, the one thing I would do is I would create Alex Jones. I would pay Alex Jones. I would fund him. I would look for him or some figure like him on the web, and then I would just start paying him to keep talking in the way that he talks about this stuff, because it leads his followers down a wormhole where they think they're going to find the secret information that's going to unlock everything to them. There is no secret information. It's not hidden. It's completely out in the open. Take a look at the audit dump from the Fed. All the information is there, how we're paying off the banks. There's no secret information as to what's going on. The only thing that's shrouded in mystery is how are we going to solve this? And Alex Jones won't go anywhere near there, of course, because that doesn't sell. What he's selling is there's a secret solution. The one thing to do is go get freeze-dried food. Oh, coincidentally, here's my advertiser, freeze-dried food. The solution is hard. And it involves more than forwarding on a bunch of emails that are going to tell you got to buy freeze-dried food. Freeze-dried food's not going to save you, folks. It's going to save you if you sell freeze-dried food. That will help because there's a lot of people buying it. Because people like Alex Jones are telling them that the world is going to come to end because it's being engineered by a one-world cabal. But I got news for you. If there was a one-world cabal, the one thing they would do is they make sure that Alex Jones is out there saying that there's a one-world cabal because it's ridiculous. And there's nothing we can do about a one-world cabal that can control everything. That's been controlling it since the beginning of time. No, what we have is not a Manchurian president. We just have a guy who's a neoliberal who's buying a conservative line that we should be freezing federal workers' pay. We don't have a guy who's trying to take your guns because the UN Agenda 21 is coming to cull the herd. No, it's just a guy who won't let antique firearms from South Korea come back and flood the markets in the country. And it wasn't even a ban that he set up. Do a little Googling, folks, and be a little judicious with whose message you take. It's very easy to scare people. It's a little bit harder to gain some genuine understanding of what's going on so you can do something other than buying freeze-dried food or vast water supplies. I'm sorry. That's just the reality.